So after a few minutes, the diagnostic got completed, and as you can see here, the connectivity is a success, and the key point to really focus on is here, right here, whereby you can see that we were testing connectivity using virtual machine 0 from VNet 1 to test connectivity to virtual machine that should be, I think, virtual machine 2, and that virtual machine 2 is under VNet 2 with this different IP address. So you notice that this one is 10.62 and this one is 10.60. So as much as they are in different networks, they are able to communicate with each other directly, because you can see that there is a direct hop to VNet, to VM2, virtual machine 2. So if I just scroll back to the network diagram here, how it looks like, you may notice that subnet 0, this one, and VNet 1 has the IP address 10.60.0.0, which is associated with the VM0 in that within that VNet. Then subnet this other subnet 0 is associated with the IP address 10.62, and that subnet is within VNet 2. So you can see that we can have not that we can have, but we do have connectivity between these two virtual networks without needing anything in between, thanks to the peering capability. So moving forward, we need to test connectivity for the second VNet. So what we'll do in this case is, let me see. So what we'll be doing in this case is that we'll work with the virtual machine 0, and just a moment. No, we'll be working with the virtual machine 2 in this case. Remember, virtual machine 2 is the virtual machine within VNet 2. Then we'll try to ping this IP address 10.63.0.4, which is the IP address of the virtual machine in VNet 3. So just to verify that, notice the IP address that is used under VNet 3 is 10.63, and then the IP address that is used under subnet 0 in VNet 2 is 10.62. So I hope you get that difference. So I'll just go back to the test connectivity once again, scroll down, yeah, and we'll go back to the network watcher blade. Still on under the connection troubleshoot blade. What we need to change is just a few things here. We'll change the virtual machine from VM0 to VM2, as you can see here. Then as for the URI or the FQDN or the IP version 4 entry, we need to copy this IP address and paste it here. So paste that here, there. Then protocol is going to be TCP, still on the 389 port. Then nothing else to be said, so you can just click on run diagnostic once again at this point. We'll give it a moment to run. So after a few while, the diagnostic report came back, or results came back, and you can see that the connectivity test failed in this case because, for one key reason, the two VNets, VNet 2 and 3, are not paired. So that's the reasons why this connectivity is not currently allowed. So as an alternative to just actually as a solution to make sure that VNet 2 is kind of talking with VNet 3, then we can set up the hub network, which will be VNet 1, to allow that communication to go through it before it gets to VNet 3. But generally the diagnostic that network connectivity test failed here. That's why you see it indicates failed. So I'll close out of the blade. I'll click OK. Then let's proceed. So it says even here under in the instruction that note this is expected, so that failure in the test connectivity in that connectivity test is expected since the two spoke virtual networks are not paired with each other. So in brackets we have virtual network pairing is not transitive. Okay. Task number 4, configure routing in the hub and spoke topology. So in this task, you will configure and set routing between the two spoke virtual networks by enabling IP forwarding on the network interface of virtual machine 0 and enabling routing within its operating system and configuring user-defined routes on the spoke virtual network. So we need to go into virtual machines and select VM0. Remember VM0 is under VNet 1. Then under VM0 we need to go to settings section and select networking. So let's just go there. I can select it from here because okay, let's just go to virtual machines, then select VM0. I'll click on this button to have a better view. Then I'll go down to settings and select networking. Then under networking we need to click on NIC 0. So this is NIC 0 right here. I'll click there. Then we need to enable IP forwarding at this point. So set IP forwarding to enabled and save the changes. So let's see where that is. So let me just type in forwarding. Let me just go back once again. So in the settings section, IP configuration, of course that should be there, and this is the option that we need to check, enable IP forwarding. So make sure that this one is checked. I'll just hit check there and I'll click apply. So note here, the IP forwarding setting is required in order for VM0 to function as a router, which will route traffic between two spoke virtual networks. So ideally, traffic coming from VNet 2 will be able to reach VNet 3, or maybe VNet 3 to VNet 2, such a thing, if it's allowed. Then now you need to configure the operating system of VM virtual machine 0 to support routing. So for that we need to install something. So we'll once again need to be within virtual machine 0 blade, then click overview. So I'll just close out of this to go back. So this is VM0, as you can see here. We are within VM0 blade. So you need to go back to overview, click overview. Then under overview, let's see what's the next thing. We should actually be in the operations section. Then we need this is the operations section. Then click on run command, because you're going to run a PowerShell script. So on the run command script, this is what you need to copy. This this block right here, just copy it. Then we'll select run PowerShell script. I'll paste in Ctrl+V to paste the code. Then at this point you just need to click on run. Give it a moment to run. As it runs, let's review what's next. Wait for the confirmation that the command completed successfully. Then after that we'll need to run another script. So I'll just copy this set of code in the meantime as I wait for the initial command complete. So everything is looking okay. The command completed successfully, and that's why you get we're getting this output down here. So exit code success. I'll just come back. Ensure to copy this second command, this block of code. Then this will do something else. I think this is the one that will actually okay, let's just review it. So install Windows feature. It will be installing an Windows feature, seems like. Then the feature name is gonna be this, and then it will do all that. So I'll just copy the code, and I'll close out of that blade, then reopen it once again, then I'll paste in that and click run. I'll give it a moment to run. You can see script execution is in progress. Once again, our code execution was a success, and that's why you see the app that is showing here. So we can close out of this blade now and proceed to the next task. So next we need to create what we call route tables, and the route tables are what will be used to define the user-defined routes. So in the Azure portal, just search for route tables at the top here, type in route. So this is it, route tables. You can click there. Then currently I don't have any route tables, so what you need to do next is to create one. I'll click on create. Then you can just think of this route table as a table which you'll be using to add in user-defined entries, and these user-defined entries, if you configured a router before or something like a switch, you may have come across whereby you need to set up default gateways and such things. So it will be more or less the same thing when you're defining the UDRs. So let's just see how we'll name our route table instance. We need to select our subscription, then we need to select resource group 1. The resource group of this route table will be resource group 1, so I'll just select resource group 1. Then as for the region, please be careful there. Make sure that you use the region that you chose to use when you are deploying the resources using those scripts at the beginning of this lab. So for me, the region is going to be Brazil South. Then the name of this route table is going to be AZ-104-06 route table 23. So I'll just copy that. So ideally, I think it was named route table 23 because it's going to be routing traffic between VNet 2 and 3. At least it's going to, not really routing, but it will be used to define traffic coming from VNet 2 to go to VNet 3. Then propagate gateway routes, so we don't need to check that. We'll select no, but the point here is, let me just go over this. The idea behind propagating gateway routes is whereby maybe you have a route that goes out into the internet, and by you selecting propagate gateway routes, then you'll be sharing that route information with the rest of the VNets that are there that you're connecting to. So a good example in this case would be VNet 1. If we were to set up a route table in VNet 1, then we could choose to propagate something like a gateway route. So just in case maybe VNet 2 needs to go out into to the internet, it will see that okay, VNet 1 has a route for that, so let me go through VNet 1 to get to the internet. So such a thing. Then we can just click on review and create at this time. So you are advised to wait for the route table to be created. Then you'll need to go to the resource, that route table. Okay, so I'll click create. And if you're keen, you might have noticed that we did not input any sort of IP. We don't do any sort of networking configuration on the route table. So that's why it really kind of acts like a table. You just create a table first, then you start inputting your entries, and the entries that you'll be inputting are things those entries. That's where we'll be doing we just set up the networking part of things. So right now we're just coming up with a blank table. So my deployment is complete. I'll just click to go to the resource, or if you had navigated away, you can just search for route tables once again, and click the route table entry resource. Then you want to click on the entry of that route table that we just created. So this should be it, the first one that you see here. Then how I like to do this is I start by defining the subnets. Then I'll go into defining the routes now. So I know it's quite the inverse of what the instructions of what the instruction lay here, but it's more or less the same thing. We'll just go with the instructions that are here, only that we'll start by associating that route table with the subnet. So we are past step number 10. We have just created a route table. So the instruction says that we need to define we are past instruction number 13, so we are there in the resource itself, the route table. The instruction here says that we need to add a route, but then I just like to add the subnet first, so I'll come to instruction number 17 here. Then I'll add the subnet first. It's called associating a subnet. Then after that, I'll come to add the route. So this is the subnet that we need to associate with the RT23 route table. So virtual network is going to be virtual network 2 and subnet 0. After all, that VNet only has a single subnet. So you need to come down to the subnet right here. Click subnets. Then associate a subnet to this table. So our subnet is gonna be VNet 2. Actually, we start by selecting the VNet, so it's gonna be VNet 2. Then select the subnet. We only have a single subnet. That's why you see we only have a subnet 0 here. So I'll click OK. Give it a moment there. In the meantime, I'll just go back to, you can see we have an entry here right now. This is the entry. Then now I'll give a route. So for that, I'll just scroll up a bit, and this is the area. So this is where you need to add a new route, and the route name is going to be AZ-104 route VNet 2 to VNet 3. So I'll just copy that. Then I'll click on add to add a route. Route name, I'll just paste in what I copied. Then destination type. Let's see what's the destination type. So we'll be using IP address as our destination type. So I'll click on IP address. Then the destination IP address outside the range is gonna be 10.63.0.0 So that's gonna be the IP address space of VNet 3. Let me just confirm. Yeah, that should be VNet 3. I'll just paste it there. Then next up type is going to be a virtual appliance, and in our case the virtual appliance is going to be virtual machine 0. If you recall, we are just from defining setting up virtual machine 0 to do the IP forwarding, and we have installed some kind of router role on it. So that's going to be a virtual appliance, and this is actually the IP address of virtual machine 0. So next up is going to be a virtual appliance. Then the next up address, you need to give an IP there. So yeah, that's just it. So we click add. Successfully added it. So essentially what this says is that how you can just try to interpret this is that we've associated a subnet here. We said by associating a subnet, so we're kind of telling, we're kind of saying traffic coming from this subnet and trying to reach this destination of 10.63.0.0, then that traffic should be forwarded to a virtual appliance, and the virtual appliance itself has this IP address. So that's what is happening there. So let's move forward. We need to create another. We need to create another route table, and this is the point. So you're asked to navigate back to route tables blade and click plus create. So let me just close out of this. I can even go to the home page. So you can search for route tables, or just click on this link right here. That will show you your available route tables. We only have a single route table, so we need to create a new one now for VNet 3. I'll click on create. Then we need to key in these details. So the resource group is going to be resource group 1. If you're wondering why we keep on using resource group 1, let me just scroll up and show you something here. So if you notice, we have a resource group 1 in VNet. It seems like everything is just under resource group 1, so that's why we have resource group 1 there. This one is this VNet is still under resource group 1. There's resource group 1 everywhere, so that's why we're working with this. But if you're just doing your own labs and you're having a different resource group, then you just need to select the resource group appropriately. So okay, yeah, so the T32 settings, yeah, so the instance name of this route table is going to be this RT32, and the resource group is going to be resource group 1. So it seems like all our resources are just within that resource group 1. Then propagate gateway routes. Let me just double check that. No, still, because we don't have any routes to propagate. Then I'll click on review plus create. Seems to be taking a while. So my deployment is completed here. I can just go back to route tables, and this is the second route table that we created. This one name with a suffix of 32. I'll click on that entry, expand this, then after you go into the RT32 route table, we need to do the setup. So the route name, actually let's start with the subnet once again. So the subnet is going to be subnet 0 under VNet 3. So no need, nothing to copy there. I'll just go into subnets. Then I'll click associate. I'll select VNet 3 and select subnet 0. I'll click OK. As it goes on, I'll just scroll up slightly, and then I'll copy the details for the route name. It's more or less the same thing we did earlier. Copy that. So we have the subnet associated there. Then let's set up the route. I click add, then the route name, and then the destination type is gonna be IP still, and the destination IP address is gonna be 10.62.0. So that's the IP address space of VNet 2. I'll place it there. Then we're gonna be using a virtual appliance once again, and we're still using VM0 as our virtual appliance with the same IP address 10.60.0.4. So just place it there. Now click on add. As it goes on, so we'll need to go back to network watcher, connection and troubleshoot blade to just test our connection once again. So I'll close out of this blade. Let me just see. Yeah, we have the route there. So I'll just close out of that blade, close out of that, and here's our link to shortcut to our network watcher. I'll just click on that. Then scroll down to connection troubleshoot once again. And let's see what details we have to enter here. So resource group is gonna be resource group 1, virtual machine. It's gonna be our source type. Then the virtual machine is gonna be VM2. That's under VNet 2. Then as for the destination, we'll specify it manually. And destination is gonna be 10.63.0.4. So that's the IP address of the virtual machine in VNet 3 of So I'll just specify this manually. Virtual machine is going to be virtual machine 2. Then this entry of the URI or FQDN or IP address, I'll input the IP address of VM3 within virtual network 3. Then destination port is going to be the 389. Let me just double check that. Yeah, that's okay. Then I'll just click on run diagnostics. Give it a moment to load. So after a few minutes, this is what my diagnostic report came back as. I got a warning here, but I think the connection test, the connectivity test is okay because I'm seeing success here. So I'll just try to quickly review why it's saying here that NIC 0, there's a warning there, IP forwarding is not enabled. So I'll just go back to NIC 0 and see what could be the issue there. So I'll go under IP configuration, enable IP forwarding. So IP forwarding is enabled. Maybe I just need to restart the virtual machine, but I think everything is working okay. So I'll close out of that blade, and yeah, that should be it. So there is a note here that if status is failed, so if the connectivity test status is going to be failed, then you should stop and then start virtual machine 0. So you can try that as well. Yeah, so let me just go back and see if there's something here to talk about.